Hi guys, this is Mark Rodriguez.
Johnny Rodriguez.
Here's our basic thoughts on the brand new Nickelodeon version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Put this every Saturday morning at 10 or 11, depending on where you live, on the normal Nickelodeon channel, not Nicktoons or anything. And it's a pretty cool show. We have 5 episodes up so far, so we kind of get a general idea of how it is, the tone, what they're going with this. And the first episode, it was like part 1 and part 2, and they put them together like a 1-hour premiere, which is kind of awesome. And this new show, it starts off with the Turtles barely being 15 years old and going to out of the sewers for the first time, check out the outside world. They run into the Krang, which, if you watch the comic books and stuff, they're kind of like the evil version of the Utroms, because the Utroms are good guys, now they're evil. And they want to kidnap April and her father, and the Turtles rescue April, but the father's still out there, and they promise to, rescue him. And the third episode deals with Raphael and his temper, and some fat dude with an iPod takes a picture of them, so they gotta try to get it back from him before it gets, exposed. The fourth episode is about Michelangelo meeting a friend, a new friend that kind of looks like Bruce, not like Bruce, I mean like Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
I know. And, but he's actually working for the Shredder, and the Foot is involved and all that. And the episode we just saw recently was about Baxter Stockman coming into the picture, so it's all pretty interesting. So anyways, this show is drawn CGI style. It's not typical animation. And I know lots of people were complaining when they first found out about it, but now that we see the final product, it looks pretty good. There's excellent animation, super fast. I mean, the Turtles are ninjas. And I think that this show actually shows even more intense, ninja action. Not just the martial arts fighting, but also the whole lurking in the shadows and stealth stuff. Even more than the 2003 cartoon.
Well, what I think about the cartoons, at first, again, you would have to get used to the fact that now it's CGI, type graphics compared to the actual cartoon hand-drawn. That's one of the first things you have to realize about that. It's a bit of a mix and match from the 80s and 2003 Turtles, because it has some of the 80s style comedy without being too cheesy, but it also has all the badass action that the 2003 cartoon has. And I think that they mixed that up and then they put their take as well. So I'm pretty satisfied. I like the cartoon. It's very action-packed. It's funny. It's the Turtles act more like teenagers. It's modern because iPods and stuff like that come out. And I think this version of the Shredder is totally badass. I can't wait to actually see the real Shredder really kicking their butts over there. So this is pretty good. And there's nothing negative to really say about this cartoon.
Well,
except for the fact that it's on Nickelodeon.
Well, there's some negatives. So let me go into positives. First, the Turtles got very well-defined personalities in this version. They're kind of, different here and there. Leonardo, for example, he's still the leader, but he's not he's trying to be serious. That's the difference between being serious and trying to be serious. He's very young now. He wants to be a big hero and a good leader, and he watches this Star Trek ripoff type show called Space Heroes, and he gets the ideas to say stuff like, "Halt there, villain! Prepare for justice!" and all that corny stuff, while the other Turtles are kind of like, "Oh man, really?" and that. So that's a big difference of his character, but it's kind of interesting. It's like showing how he becomes serious in the future without being serious from the start. And Raphael's kind of like the typical kind of angry jerk, kind of sorta, and a bit of a bully sorta, but it's not. It's a little different. In the 2003 version and the 2007 version, it's so carried away that you're just asking yourself, well, why is he so angry all the time? Here it's a bit more natural. Here it feels like, well, that's how he is. I guess he's just the jerk one. And even though he does bother Mikey, it is good that he kind of bothers everybody, sorta. In the 2003 cartoon, he was always picking on Mikey all the time. Here, yeah, he's picking on Mikey, but he's also rolling his eyes at Leonardo's stupid lines or making fun of Donatello's nerdy, geeky stuff. So it's more balanced out. And he also has a pet turtle, a pet normal turtle named Spike, which is kind of weird having mutant turtles with a normal turtle as a pet. That's weird. Donatello's still, geeky, nerdy and stuff. He's making inventions and everything. He hasn't done anything wacky so far because other versions make him create time machines and crap like that. Here, it's still kind of slowly making things. The biggest difference is that now he has a big crush on April, because April in this version is a teenager too. She's around 15, 14, whatever, around their age. So, he has a crush on her and all that. She doesn't seem to know yet or whatever. Another thing that's different is his bow staff now becomes a naginata. The blade sticks out, so it's kind of different. Michelangelo has his nunchucks, and they also turn into a kusarigama, which is kind of like a 3-part section with chains and a blade at the end. So it's kind of different. Michelangelo, of course, is the wild and crazy one. We just don't like that he's also the dumb one. In the 80s version, he's like the surfer dude, likes his peaks a little too much. 2003 was very annoying, stupid, bratty, arrogant, and retarded. And in this version, he's just kind of like the dumb one, and I don't know.
Really dumb. Really
I don't like that a little. I mean, sometimes he's kind of naive and whatever, and sometimes he's just plain dumb. And Splinter, of course, is a serious, he's a master, he's a father. He has lots of humor in this version, because, I mean, it's like he's serious, but he still rolls with the comedy, or I don't know, it's just so funny. In this version, he's Hamato Yoshi turned into a rat, so that's also different compared to the comics. He was a normal rat. And we don't know what's going on yet, because you have to see more episodes, but something about him and Shredder fighting in Japan in the old days, and that during the fight, Tang Shen got killed, which is the woman that they were both in love with, but she loves Yoshi, not Shredder. Shredder killed her. The fire is a big fire, and nowadays Shredder's face does look pretty messed up and burnt up, so I guess, yeah, revenge and everything. And, well, let me see. One thing, like we said, it's lots of comedy. It's a lot of fun. It's comedy. It's, I don't know how to describe it. It's comedy, but it's really funny. I mean, it's not like the people acting stupid for stupid's sake, and it's like very childish, and you're like, oh yeah, this is supposed to be funny.
And it's not as cheesy as the old cartoons like from the 80s, because their comedy in that and the old Turtles it was really cheesy.
Yeah, too much lame puns. Here there's not any lame puns. It's more like, I don't know, it's like situational humor. When you're doing something and something looks funny and you make fun of that. It's kind of like that. It kind of flows. And the characters bounce off each other, because Leonardo's cheesy, Donatello's nerdy, and he's correcting everybody. Raphael's being a jerk and making fun of this and that. Michelangelo's just saying random dumb things. It all goes together. And, well, and I just like that. I mean, like, for example, there's like 2 personal examples. I like one example is that when the fat dude got a picture of the Turtles on his iPhone thing, it was Raphael's fault, because Raphael was bitching him out, and that's what led to them being discovered. So when the Turtles are being lectured by Splinter, Splinter's like, how can you do this? We cannot keep our identity secrets if we're being exposed on HD. And Raphael saw, but you should have heard what he said. He was saying mean things. Oh, I had no idea he was saying mean things. Well, that explains why you jeopardized your mission. It's like he's saying it seriously, but still sounds funny how he's saying it. And then another thing is that the last episode, Turtles are going through the night, and they're, oh yeah, like teenagers and stuff. And I was like, guys, when we're ninjas going out quietly and silently, we're going out, silently. And then he messes up and falls and makes a bunch of noise, and Racken and Beehive falls on him and crap. And Raphael's like, whoa, Leonardo, that wasn't very silent. And the thing that makes me laugh the most is that it happens to Leonardo. Because usually all that stuff happens to Michelangelo or whatever, but it's Leonardo, the serious one, and he's the one that trips and falls and a whole bunch of crap. And I mean, that's just funny. It made me laugh out loud. And then when they fight against Baxter Stockman, a piece of the robot got stuck on his head, and it's shooting. So Leonardo's running around blindly while it's shooting at the other turtles. Mm-hmm. This is random stuff. Any other thoughts? Any other examples or funny things?
Not that I could think of. All I know is it's a good turtle cartoon. A while ago I said that there's really nothing negative about it, but I think the only negative is probably, and I'm sure most of the fans agree, is that I don't think a lot of people like the fact that April is too young, like a young teenage girl, and she's not really doing anything. I mean, at least in the old cartoons for the 80s, she was a news reporter, and then in the 2003 one, she was like, working in her antique shop. Like, she had more of a, I don't know, personality. She had more things with her, person, and here it just looks like she's just like some young teenage girl. Okay, we'll just put her there just because we gotta put April in there. But it's like she just seems so bland in this version.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with this show is a bit of the continuity isn't so tight, even though it's kind of sort of supposed to be. Because okay, they rescue April, but her father's still missing, and they gotta find the Krang and save her. Well, save her father, I mean. And then what? Because in the next episode, well, yeah, they're looking for the Krang. It got interrupted by the fat dude. But then in the third episode, they're just relaxing. what? I mean, her father's still kidnapped. And then April's in the sewers. What? Did we miss an episode? Did we miss a scene where the Turtles first take April to the sewers to meet Splinter? And then nothing. There's no mention of the Krang. There's no mention of, we will still find your father. Let's look up information. April's just chilling, reading a book. Yeah, my father's kidnapped by some weird robot things. I don't give a fuck. He never gave me allowance anyways. I don't give a damn. And then, like, and she does nothing. The only reason she was in that episode was because Michelangelo wanted to find friends. She's like, hey, you can use the internet. Thank you, April. Your scene is done. Let's continue the episode without you, you know? And then the last episode, Baxter Stockman, again, I mean, nothing's going on. Splinter grounded the Turtles for a week, which is kind of, you know, funny. But then it's like, okay, so they're grounded for a week. That means that for that week that they're grounded, April's father is still locked up with the Krang.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that they're weird aliens and robot bodies and that they have mutagen, and we've already seen examples of other mutant monsters coming out thanks to that mutagen, and her father is in that place, it's not a good place for him to be, I don't give a shit. I'm rocking with my iPod, or I'm going to skateboard through the town. Yeah, in the episode of Turtles, we're going to skateboard through the town.
Mm-hmm.
To have fun.
Yeah.
They snuck out to have fun. I don't give a shit that April's father's kidnapped. I don't give a crap that now the Shredder knows we exist and there's foot ninjas around town trying to kill us. Let's go out there, skateboard, have some fun, you know? So that's the only thing that's kind of messing up a little. The continuity, I mean, they kind of sort of want to make it, you know, like it goes into a plot, but they're really messing up. And I find out that in about 2 episodes, there will be an episode of Donatello and April working together to find the Krang or something. But it's like, it's gonna, I mean, the way it's been ignored so far, when you get to that episode, it's gonna be like, wow, now they care about the Krang, and now they care about the father all of a sudden.
Considering that the show's like also like aiming for a younger audience, they might even forget about that whole thing by the time they reach that episode. So
yeah, I know. So I guess that's the only complaints, basically. Is just Michelangelo being too dumb, like dumb, not naive, I mean dumb. And, you know, the whole, like, I don't give a shit, my father's kidnapped, I'm reading a book now, ooh, Twilight, you know, it's like, I don't know. So anyways, guys, that's our thoughts on the show, the new show. Other than that, we still think it's awesome, it's incredible action, badass ninja stuff. It's a new thing watching the Turtles actually act their age, because in other versions they are like 15 or whatever, but they just act way too serious. They look like college people or like very young adults. I mean, I don't know. Here they're more like they're the real age. They get grounded. They're silly. All of them are silly.
They look more like teenagers too, if you notice.
Yeah, if you notice, they also do things like Michelangelo's a bit shorter than everybody. Raphael's just a slightly bit more like wider, kind of thicker than everybody. Donatello's like he's nerdy. He's like taller and thinner, so they don't look like clones of each other like they've always have. And that's all we gotta say, guys. So if you like the Turtle Show, check it out. Don't miss episodes every Saturday morning at 10 or 11, which is weird. It sounds like we're advertising it, right? But it's a brand new show, so check it out.
Yeah, and don't forget to check out our new YouTube channel, and don't forget to like us on Facebook.
And also, don't forget to check out Mark and Paige's blog of Epic Randomness, because we've been doing articles on each Ninja Turtle episode. So you want our thoughts on each episode as it comes out, check out our thoughts. And that's it. Mark Rodriguez.
Johnny Rodriguez.
See y'all next time.
And that's a wrap.